The Minnesota Timberwolves did not make many moves this offseason in terms of bringing in new faces, and instead decided to focus on re-signing their existing talent. The squad was focused on connectivity and bringing back most of the group that made it to a second straight Western Conference Finals. The few moves that they did make in free agency seemed largely like roster fillers, and not a lot of people thought that they would factor into the Wolves' rotations. One of these roster fillers was signing 24-year-old Johnny Juzang, who the Wolves signed to a training camp offer. The 6'7" guard spent the first 3 years of his career in Utah and really only saw consistent minutes with the Jazz last year, playing 65 games and averaging 20 minutes a game. Last year with the Jazz, Juzang shot 37.6% from three on 4.9 attempts per game on a bad Jazz team. But so far in the preseason, Johnny has been impressive, including shooting 56% from three on 6.3 attempts per game, and is actually, per game, the Wolves' second leading scorer behind Anthony Edwards, who, of course, up to this point has only played 2 games. Obviously, we have to take a few things into account to tell the whole story. Juzang has played primarily in the second half of preseason games against a lot of guys who are also end of the rotation guys. So the level of competition he is performing against is not what you'd call elite. Additionally, Juzang has been a below average defender, holding a career defensive rating of 122. With that said, though, the Jazz were the worst rated team on defense last season, so I'm not saying that his low output on defense is his fault. Johnny should be a better defender, Coach Finch told the Min Post. We think there is defensive growth in him. From watching the Wolves in the preseason, it seems that the top 8 in the rotation are pretty much set in stone, with a bench unit of Nas, DiVincenzo, and Shannon, with Dillingham and Clark filling in many of the situational minutes, and Bones Highland being used as a break glass in case of emergency scorer off the bench. I highly doubt Joe Ingles plays much of a factor and see him more as a morale and mentorship kind of guy, and honestly, I think he's fine with that. I could see, however, Coach Finch being tempted to throw Juzang into the mix on nights where the Wolves are struggling to hit shots. Coach Finch said the challenge for him is going to be, can he connect? Can he make shots at a high enough level during the game? We feel like he has the profile and pedigree to do that. Juzang's contract is not guaranteed, but buzz around Wolves camp is that Juzang will be on the roster to start the season. If that rings true, don't be surprised if we see Finch give him a chance. Johnny Juzang could be one of those under-the-radar moves that pays off huge dividends in the long run. Anyway, guys, that's the video. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe on YouTube. And check out our sponsor, 612 Tees. They make awesome-looking Wolves and Vikings tees, really out-of-the-box tees. Check them out. The link is in the description. And use promo code RUN25 to get 25% off your first purchase. Check out the podcast on this channel. And as always, go Wolves.